But let's play the ejection first.
Yeah.
And we're going to work our way back. So let's pull that video up real quickly. All right. So right here, Kevin's yelling, "You've missed 3 pitches already," right? If we're reading his mouth, "You've missed 3 already." And then immediately he gets tossed. And if you look at the top of there, 2 outs in the first inning, bottom of the first. The head coach of the Coastal Carolina, the Chants, is tossed. And he's sitting there, and this is where it's going to escalate. And this is where it kind of gets crazy, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you're going to see this. You're going to see another umpire come flying in. And he's going to stumble, which is an interesting moment. But watch him throw up his hands for 2. So you look at the right hand right there. He's saying 2. And you're going, wait a minute. If you listen to the broadcast, they're still believing. I can't believe he got called out or he got ejected in the national championship. Whoa. But the umpire right there throws up 2. And why did he throw up 2? He is claiming Kevin Schnall right there bumped him, and that automatically leads to a 2-game suspension. So if the Chants were to win game 2, he was not going to be able to coach that game.
Yeah.
And it's a wild circumstance here, right? Because I understand that umpires get criticized tremendously, right? Sometimes it's very warranted. Other times it's just a part of the nature of the business, right? But he goes down, and it looks like to me he trips either over the other umpire's feet, whatever it may be, Zach. Legs up in the air. That is
gonna say, like, this is, and then just right back like nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
2.
Oh, that's
2.
So
That's
the reason why we're showing this is because then the first base coach gets ejected also, by the way, for Coastal Carolina. So you have 2 guys gone. But now let's get to the explanation on the other side from Kevin Schnall so we can put the pieces back together. So this is Kevin Schnall after the game explaining what he heard or saw and then explain the entire interaction. So, Zach, let's play that clip.
There's 25,000 people there, and I vaguely hear a warning issued. As the head coach, I was assistant for 24 years, and as an assistant, you're almost treated like a second level citizen, and you can't say a word. Now, as a head coach, I think it is your right to get an explanation of why we got warned. And I'm 48 years old. I shouldn't get shooed by another grown man, right? So when I come out to ask what the warning is, a grown man shooed me. So at that point, I can now hear him say, it was a warning issued for arguing balls and strikes. And at that point, I said, because you missed 3. At that point, ejected. If that warrants an ejection, I'm the first one to stand here like a man and apologize. 2 words that define our program are own it. And what does that mean is you have to own everything that you do without blame, without defending yourself, without excuses. If you guys watched the video, there was a guy that came in extremely aggressively, tripped over Campos's foot, embarrassed in front of 25,000, immediately goes 2-game suspension and said, bumping the umpire. Immediately does that. There was no bump. He was embarrassed. I shouldn't be held accountable for a grown man's athleticism. They'll retract it, though, because now it's excessive. And the reason why it's excessive, because I was trying to say, I didn't bump him. It is what it is. But if that warranted an ejection, man, there'd be a lot of ejections.
So, a couple things here, okay? I appreciated the detailed response. and 25,000 people being there, and an umpire in the circumstances, I get it. That it's like a common thing where, hey, like enough, or they do some type of movement. But I understand Kevin's point of, hey, if I didn't hear it, I want to know what you're talking about, even though Kevin kind of knows what he's already talking about, right? If they're barking at your dugout and then your response is you've missed 3, I think everyone knows what you were arguing, right?
Yeah.
I still don't think in that game, I want to give some grace period. I would love to see some grace period. I don't want to see it get to that point, right? I don't. The next part, though, is probably one of the most, is that like one of the most backhanded insults, or one of the most diabolical insults of not going after and saying this person is this person is that, just going, I shouldn't get punished for someone else's athleticism. That's got to be an all-time high of disses in a post-game presser.
That was as close to saying, yeah, why did I get punished because this fool can't stay on his own 2 feet, without saying it. Like it was the most beautiful, like, why am I being held accountable for another grown man's athletic ability, knowing it's more lack of athletic ability? I have to side with the coach here. I think the umpire was embarrassed. He was like, I just fell on my ass and did a complete backward somersault in front of 25,000. I got to act like I was pushed. I think it is very much just that. That's why he put up the 2. He's like, yeah, no, bumped. Like this is on him. This is on him. And it was just, kind of the scapegoat. Like at no point you can see very clearly coming up here, he tripped over the guy's, one ump even like almost pushes him away. Look at the one ump's left arm.
That foot is just up there.
The ump is literally like, hey, oh, you're falling. Like, hey. Like that ump throws him.
Oh, that's a good stop right there. And look, I do feel like it is an embarrassing moment. Like I
would have done this. I would have hit that coat with 2 as well.
Hey, you know what? 2. Shirts and pants. I feel for the umpire on that standpoint, right? That it is an embarrassing. I mean, right now his legs are just, they say put your hands up and shout. It's like put your feet up and
shout,
toss.
Put your feet out and shout 2+.
Shout 2+. Like, I completely think that is unwarranted for how it happened, right? Now, if he had tripped over even the manager, or he wasn't running in and he fell over something else, like, sure. But in that case, the 2 was excessive. I understand why he did it. And I think that got way out of hand. Like I said, is this going to change the outcome of the game? LSU deserves to win the national championship, right? They won game 1. We just talked about Cade Anderson. We talked about the great season that they had. They deserve to win this game. But, man, the one thing that I hate, and I know it gets tight, and in sports, it gets tense. But when you're in the national championship, right, there's no guarantee that you get back. Like, we talk about winning in all sports. And I know that the expectation for wherever you go in professional sports, your team is not, oh, we want to get to the playoffs. You want to win, right? But you also have to appreciate how hard it is to get to where you are. And there's no guarantee that that Coastal Carolina is going to get back to the national championship. That group, and Kevin Schnall is the coach, there's no guarantee that they are going to see that success. You hope for them, but you don't know. And because of a early conflict, you toss a manager in the first inning. It's just, whether it was warranted or not, I don't know if I could have pulled that right there, Zach. I would have done one more time after he gave me the 3. I would have said, hey, one more, you're done.
Yeah.
And if he did it again, all right, I gave you then, according to that, 2 or 3 warnings. But clearly Kevin's saying I didn't see the warning, but he clearly knew what he was warned about.